Howdy folks, I'm cool Canadian tiger swallowtail, carefully collecting colorful carnations.
I'm Amber.
And here are more colorful carnations for us to collect, although I'm sure as a swallowtail we're just more interested in the nectar than anything. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, I'm a 26-year-old male and I have a small crush on my sister-in-law, a 19-year-old female. How do I proceed? No judgment, please. I'm just looking for advice. Well, I've been with my wife, a 26-year-old, for around 6 years. In that time, I've got pretty close with my sister-in-law, who I'll call Elle. And I've always seen her as kind of a kindred spirit. We're both middle children, and we both have the same pretty niche hobbies, and we both play video games. I honestly think that even if my wife and I never met, Elle and me would be good friends. I am a pretty protective person naturally, so I've always felt like Elle was under my care, in a sense. For example, she was dating a pretty scummy dude, and I was the only person who warned her about him. And also, the only person to console her after they broke up, around January of this year. I think that it was around then that I noticed that I felt something for her, basically when she was at my house sobbing to my wife, and I realized that I was thinking of her not as a sister-in-law, but as a young woman who was funny and sweet and really pretty. Well, obviously, I didn't act on these feelings, and at the end of the day, she's my sister-in-law. So there are way too many obstacles for us to ever be a thing. I'm pretty reserved, so I'm pretty certain that nobody knows that I feel this way. But my heart pounds whenever I see her. It's like I got dosed with a love potion or something like that. I'm ashamed to say that I really want to ask her out, or if she would be interested in something, but just the thought of that makes me nauseous. I've seen some subreddits on here about ethical non-monogamy and cake eating with a ton of other stuff. Do these situations actually pan out without hurting anybody? Do I tell my wife? Do I tell Elle how I feel? Or do I just suffer in silence? I don't know how to proceed. Any advice or guidance is helpful and appreciated. Thank you. All right, folks, what do you think? OP didn't ask for judgment, but maybe we might have some judgments here.
Yeah, I've got a lot of things to say to OP. I mean, first of all, you've known this girl since this woman since she was a 13-year-old child.
13.
That's a little awkward. And then secondly, first, forget any idea of ethical non-monogamy with your sister-in-law. Like, this is not, like, ethical non-monogamy can work, but it needs to be everyone on board, and it's generally not with family members because people don't want to be in that kind of relationship with their family members.
Yeah, I think that OP is looking for trouble here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can divorce your wife if you're not happy with her anymore.
Well, I think you need to divorce your wife, because if you're looking at someone else in this way and it seems like you're all but actually cheating, she deserves better than you, but do not try and get with your sister-in-law.
And I mean, certainly, if OP has decided that they're not interested in a monogamous relationship, right, that is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion, right? I mean, I think that people can have whatever relationships they want as long as everyone who is involved is fine with it, right? So, I mean, I'm not going to judge people for their relationships. But that means starting over fresh. That means, you know, going out there and finding other people who are also interested in ethical non-monogamy and to build relationships with that in mind.
Instead of springing this on your wife and being like, by the way, I want our third to be your sister.
I mean, that's a rug pull right there, right? And it's going to be really difficult for her and the sister when they find this out, because I'm sure she thinks of you as a, you know, brother type of person, not a, oh, he's been creeping on me since I was 13.
Right, like there's a very high chance that she does not see you in the way that you see her, and that she will be devastated by this revelation.
Yeah, so OP, if you're interested in ethical non-monogamy, that's perfectly fine. Go ahead and seek out an ethical non-monogamous relationship, but don't, you know, destroy a family in the process of doing it, right?
Yes. Leave the sister alone. I don't care how strongly you feel for her. Even if she reciprocates your feelings, that's going to wreck the family. Divorce your wife, since clearly you're not that invested in her. and find someone not related to her to be with.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best course of action here. I mean, I understand that OP has a lot of complicated feelings for the sister-in-law, but there's such a power dynamic here at play too. Knowing someone since they were 13, the potential for grooming and whatnot. No one's going to look at that relationship and say that OP approached that in an ethical way, and I think that that's going to be the biggest thing. I mean, it's a not a good place to start a relationship off at, and
yes, for
even
sure.
even if he divorces her and then gets together with the sister, again, nobody's going to look at that and say this is a good relationship.
No, and it's going to forever wreck the family dynamics.
Yeah. It's always going to be the question of, did OP groom her? What did OP do with her before she was 19,
and
right?
I think OP needs to take himself out of the equation and put himself in the shoes of the other people who would be affected by this.
Yeah.
Like, think for a second, not about how some fantasy in your head about what this could mean for you. Think about the sister-in-law, what the actual implications of this would be for her.
Yeah.
Like, if she doesn't reciprocate your advances, she is probably going to be horrified and have to live with the knowledge that someone she trusted has been creeping on her. If she does, you're going to ruin her relationship with her sister, with the rest of her family, and until you get tired of her and ditch her for someone else.
Yeah.
Like, hopefully there's not another younger sister in the family.
Yeah. Coming up on the third. Oh, no. That's not very good. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And OP replies to a deleted post is, the nuance here is that, I didn't put this in the post, is that I know that Elle has cheated on her boyfriend. That's partially why I'm struggling. It's the knowledge that she wouldn't necessarily be opposed to it based on that. Well, that doesn't mean that she is interested in a non-monogamous relationship. It means that she may have made poor decisions, right?
Right, and it doesn't mean she's interested in a relationship with OP.
Yeah.
And, like, again, I think OP needs to divorce his wife ASAP and distance himself from the family, because it's very clear that he wants to cheat.
Yeah.
He's looking for an excuse, and spraying this on your wife like, oh, hey, I want to sleep with your sister, is not going to go over well, and cheating is not going to go over well.
Yeah. And MB Mink says, so because you think that she has quote-unquote loose morals, you should shoot your shot? And OP replies, she does not have loose morals necessarily. That's not what I'm implying. It's more so that the circumstances mean that it's not 100% impossible for us to get together. There is enough of a chance to make it really difficult for me to completely brush this possibility away. I mean, okay, what are Christmases, Thanksgivings, and other holidays going to be like when you're sitting across the table with their parents and their two daughters? I mean, come on, OP. Come on here, right?
Well, and it's clear he's not even seeing her as a person. He's just seeing her as an object at this point in time. I think that's the worst thing for me about this, is that he's not seeing his wife as a person, but I don't know that he's seeing the sister as a person either.
It's difficult. I mean, I don't want to necessarily judge that he is or isn't. I mean, certainly, like, he says that he saw her as like not just like a sister, but as a person who has blah 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 blah, right? And the way he kind of phrases that, it does make me kind of wonder about whether what he sees here, right? So it's kind of gross. It's kind of icky. I do agree. There's something icky there. And Uncanny Spam says, most of these comments are wildly unhelpful, so I will try to help. It is normal in the relationship to have a small crush on other people. That doesn't make you a bad person, that makes you human. However, and this is a big however, it feels like you're interested in acting on this, and that's where this gets sticky. You didn't mention anything about your relationship with your wife in the post. How is your marriage? How do you feel about your wife? Do you have any children? In my opinion, and from personal experience, these feelings can pop up more intensely when you have unresolved relationship issues and your brain starts telling you that you would be happier with this other person. Of course, that isn't always true. So what can you work on to be happy with your wife and focus on strengthening your bond with her? I think that any attempt with your sister-in-law will end up imploding your life. Maybe that's what needs to happen, but I highly doubt when the dust settles that you'll be with her. Sometimes these things happen to let us know that our relationship isn't working. And OP replies, thank you for at least taking me seriously. I would be lying if I said that I wasn't a little bit interested. That's the part of the struggle. I don't know why I'm interested in it. My wife and I are happy. We do not have any kids. We are intimate regularly and we get along. Our relationship is fine. I don't want to implode our life or hurt my wife, but the feelings I have are strong. I think that OP should go into counseling. Plain and simple. Like, they haven't acted on the feelings towards their sister-in-law yet. They can go into counseling. They can start talking things over, and hopefully, you know, that's part of what therapy is for, right? Working on unresolved issues, becoming helping you to develop tools to weather these kinds of situations, right? If they have a perfectly happy relationship, everything is working fine, there aren't any unresolved issues, then it's time for therapy and maybe even couples counseling, because there might be unresolved issues that OP isn't aware of.
Well, and like, how actively is he in the relationship? Like, what is he doing for his wife, or is she just there to serve him?
Yeah. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for kicking my boyfriend out at 2 a.m. because of a comment that he made about my mom? Okay, so this happened 2 nights ago, and I still feel like I'm losing my mind a little bit. I'm a 26-year-old female, and I've been with my boyfriend Caleb, a 27-year-old male, for about 8 months. Things have been going mostly well. He's funny, he's smart, whatever. He just moved in last month, which was maybe too soon in hindsight, but that's not even the point right now. So my mom, a 48-year-old female, has been staying with me for a few days. She was visiting from out of state and her Airbnb canceled last minute, so I told her just to stay with us. She's super chill and, like, genuinely doesn't get in the way. Spends most of the day with her friends group, only comes back late at night and watches Netflix with me for like 30 minutes before going to bed. Well, anyways, 2 nights ago, we were all just chilling, watching some movies, and at some point my mom got up and went to bed. No big deal. Then, out of nowhere, Caleb turns to me and goes, "Your mom totally wants me." I was like, huh? He laughed and goes, "I mean, did you see the way she looked at me when she came out of the shower earlier? She was wearing an oversized tee and shorts and literally just walked past us to get her phone charger." I was already uncomfortable, but then I thought maybe he was just being dumb, so I said something like, "That's weird, don't say that." But then he keeps going, and he's like, "I swear, she was flirting with me at dinner too." And then starts imitating her voice like, "Oh, Caleb, you're so funny. You should teach me how to cook sometime." And I just sat there stunned because, first of all, ew, and second of all, my mom was just being nice, like she's always nice to everyone. So I told him flat out that he was being disgusting and disrespectful and he needed to stop. He said that I was overreacting and that it was just a joke. But like, that's not a joke, that's just weird. So I said, "You know what, just get out. Go stay with your brother," or something like that. And he thought that I was bluffing, but I stood up and I literally started grabbing his stuff and putting it by the door. He finally left, but not before telling me that I was acting psycho and that I had major daddy issues, which completely came out of left field. Since then, he's texted me a few times saying that I need to be chill and that he was just messing around and that I blew it out of proportion. My best friend says that she gets why I was upset, but thinks that I shouldn't have kicked him out so late and that I probably embarrassed him. My mom doesn't know anything that has happened. She was already asleep. And I don't want to tell her because I know she'll feel grossed out by it. But like, I don't know. It wasn't just the comment. It was the way he doubled down and made the whole joke at my mom's expense. I've never seen that side of him, and it gave me the biggest ick I've ever felt in my life. So yeah, am I the jerk for kicking him out in the middle of the night over a quote-unquote joke? All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
I'm gonna say not the jerk here because of how he was acting and everything. Like, in general, I don't think it's a good idea to kick someone out at 2 in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think there are some concerning elements of what was going on here.
Yeah.
And I want to say, like, if he was actually concerned about the mom flirting with him, I would have a completely different opinion.
Yeah,
like, if
yeah.
he came to OP and was like, "Hey, like, I'm starting to feel uncomfortable. I feel like your mom was flirting with me. Did you see her, how she was looking at me," or any number of things.
Yeah, she walked out of the shower and she dropped her towel at me and was like, "Oopsie, I'm sorry," and then picks it up very slowly and seductively. That would be flirting with him or, sexually harassing him and stuff like that, right?
Right.
Asking, "Oh, can you teach me how to cook?" is a polite thing. "You cook really well. Can you teach me a recipe one day?" That's not flirting. That's just being kind, right?
Right. Well, exactly. And that's a frustrating thing, is that women are taught to be nice to men so that they don't hurt us. But then if you're polite and friendly, that's interpreted as, oh, you're flirting with me. It's like, no, someone being polite to you does not mean they are flirting.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
And I was just going to say, and on top of that, like, speaking of like safety and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot, right? Given the way he's acting here, I think that OP was right to kick him out and put some distance between him and the mother, because who knows if he would have like gone into her bedroom that night or snuck in there or something like that, right?
Right. Well, it's very clear from his tone that it sounds like he's into her.
Yeah.
Because he's not saying this in like a creeped out way. He's saying this like, oh, ha ha, your mom's so into me. Like he's actually like into this idea.
Yeah, it does seem like that. And was really concerned there for her safety, because I just don't know what he would have done, and I don't know how he would have reacted, and I think that's really a precarious position to be. So I think OP kicking her out was absolutely the right thing to do, even at late at night, just because of the factor of the danger there, right? Physical danger. What do you think about his whole "you have daddy issue" things?
I mean, I think that didn't make any sense.
I think he's projecting. It's an accusation. It's his confession, though, right?
Right. Well, the way he treated OP also, like calling her and I don't like this word, but psycho, and everything was really inappropriate.
Oh, yeah.
Again, that's another sign of how quickly he can turn in his behavior. Like
Yeah.
he goes from, all of a sudden when OP's like, hey, you need to get out, this is inappropriate, he's like throwing accusations at her.
Yeah.
And, trying to manipulate the situation.
Yeah, instead of like speaking in a calm way and be like, oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I just realized that I really crossed the line here. I was trying to make a joke. It came off really poorly, and I'm really sorry, right? I understand if you can't forgive me for this. It was a really in poor taste joke. If you have a little bit of time and space and, want to talk things over at some point in time, I would be happy to do that, right? That's a mature way of handling that kind of situation. What he did here was not at all. He blew up on her and insulted her and then projected, right? Darvo, you're not the victim, I'm the victim. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Kicking Out My Friends with Benefit Late at Night Without Notice? I'm a 31-year-old female, and I met a dude, a 30-year-old male, on Tinder, and we spent a little while talking long distance before he came to visit. We hit it off, and we spent a week with me at my place. Great conversation, cooking together, walks, biking, being intimate, cozy times, etc. I covered food and activities while hosting him, and he cooked for me and helped with the house chores. It was great. Well, I get home from work on our last evening together, and he's cooking dinner for us. We had talked flirtatiously earlier in the day about what we would be getting up to after dinner, and he seemed giddy and goes to clean himself up. He takes a shower and then gets dressed, putting on cologne. Confused, I ask him jokingly, going on a date or something? And he responds dismissively, says, I always wear this much cologne when I go out. I figured that he's running to the corner store or something like that. But he packs up the dinner that he didn't eat and takes it with him. He told me that I might be asleep when he gets back tonight, so asks for my house key. At this point, I'm in shock. I start gawking at him. I ask where he's going, and he just awkwardly repeats that he's going to go meet up with some people. He doesn't know anyone in town, and I had seen him using Tinder a few times during the week, so I put two and two together. I asked him if he's going to go meet with other women from Tinder on our last night together. He says something along the lines of, but OP, we aren't together. I immediately tell him to get his belongings and to get a hotel for the night. He seemed shocked and told me that he would be right back before walking out the door. I take a few minutes to gather all of his belongings, and I pack them up while texting with him that he needs to come back ASAP and get his stuff. It's about 10:15 at this point, and I work in the morning. I call him a few times and I don't hear back from him. So I text him to let him know that I'm going to stash his bag, which is small and discreet, behind the flower pot outside my front door so that I can lock my door and not have to wait up for him. He comes back right after I have stashed his things. I refuse to talk to him about any more in depth, and I tell him that he needs to go. He leaves without issue, and I am left in total bewilderment. The next day he texts me saying that I shouldn't be upset about his behavior since we aren't together. He says that he just wanted to meet someone else while he was visiting, and it isn't fair for me to do that to him, just because he wanted a night to himself, since he spent every other night with me. He said that we were both very clear that we were just friends with benefit, so he doesn't understand why I even care. I told him that any sane person would have asked him to leave. Even friends have common decency. He says that that's no reason to leave him stranded for the night. I know that he is a jerk, but my thoughts are all over the place, and I'm worried that I am too. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I feel like I left him hanging after promising to host him while he's in town. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. I mean, I think his behavior here is completely inappropriate, and I think the fact that he concealed what he was doing, like it would have been one thing if he was open and honest with OP from the get-go. That would have shown that he didn't think he was doing something wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
But the fact that he snuck around behind her back and made, like, they had plans to do something later in the evening, and he played along like he was gonna go and do things with OP, and then just ditches her last minute.
Yeah, rug pulls her, right? Right in the last minute. He's like, oh, by the way, we're not going to have these plans anymore. She could have been planning to do other things too with her time, right? But he basically showed that he's just willing to use her, right? And he isn't treating her like a person. He's just treating her like a convenience, like something that he can just use and discard when he's not interested anymore.
Yeah, like,
right?
There's no friends in this arrangement on his end of things, like, because that's not how you treat even a friend,
right?
You know, hopefully when you come up to visit a friend, you're going to be more mindful of the plans you have with them.
Yeah,
like, yeah, you may want to do other things while you're on the trip, but that's something you kind of like, you might talk about and not set up plans with them and then just kind of like pretend like you're going to do them and, oh, I'm going out, you might not see me.
Yeah, well, it would have been like you said, if they had an itinerary where he planned, oh, by the way, on this day and this day, I've agreed to meet up with friends, right? There would be no problem in that. And if OP at that point in time was like, no, you have to spend every waking moment with me, that wouldn't be a very good situation, right? But whereas he slunk off, showed that it was on, Tinder the entire time that he was there, kind of shows that, again, like, he wasn't really there for OP.
No.
He was there for the benefits part.
Yeah, he had one foot out the door the entire time, you know. And I mean, again, like, it's just kind of a very disrespectful way to treat someone who is hosting you, to like just be, on Tinder, like not really thinking. It's like he is only seeing OP as like what he can use her for and not as a person who he values.
Yeah, exactly. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. But folks, let's see what the Wheel of Judgment has to say. Wheel of Judgment, turn, tells the judgment that OP's earned. Cosmic karma delivered. I mean, he did get the cosmic karma that he needed.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
If you're not going to treat someone like a friend, then don't expect friend treatment in return.
Exactly. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
What might you call a slothful flower?
A slothful flower?
Yes.
Well, I would call all flowers kind of slothful since they don't move. I mean, kind of the definition of sloth is just like a layabout, something that doesn't move, something that doesn't change positions. So all flowers is what I would consider slothful.
A lazy daisy.
Oh, a lazy daisy.
And then today is Petite and Proud Day, and it's also Star Wars Day.
So be petite, be proud, and also be a Star Wars princess. Or
May
prince.
the 4th be with you.
Or any title you want from Star Wars. And I have Earl Grey. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Special Sunday, folks. I hope your Sunday is off to a special start. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance. And please have it on being a creep.
Don't. Be a good person and treat the people in your life with respect and kindness.
That's right, folks. Don't be a good person.
No.
Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.